Man, this kind of video takes me so long to make, so if you enjoy that, comment below and smash the thumbs up and let me know. What is up, Wholesale to Million family? We're back with another real live call with Motivated Seller. In this phone call, it's going to be different from the last one because this one here, I'm going to share with you how to overcome that I want to think about it. I push him away, but kind of pull the seller back. The seller calls me back, accept the price, and we're able to move forward and lock it up in a contract at $150. The property's worth after repair is $285, okay? And it's worth as is about $220. And I'm going to break down the deal for you so you can understand what I'm talking about. And also too is if this video add any value to you, and if you'd like me to continue doing this live call I had with seller, then boom, smash the thumbs up. Comment below and let me know what is the one takeaway that you got from this video. Also too, if you're new to the channel, then boom, smash the subscribe button, man. Turn on the bell notification. Join the Wholesale to Million family, right? Where I helped you take your life, your business to a whole nother level and helping you turn your annual income, that's right, whatever you're making right now, into monthly through wholesaling real estates. So let me break down this deal for you. Okay, so the seller called, so this property here is worth $285 after it's fixed up. So I have a buyer in this area, all right, that's willing to pay as high as 25%. So they only need a 25% discount, not a 30% discount. So if I go with the formula, I lock it up in a contract for $150. So if I were to do a quick assignment fee, my potential assignment fee on this one is $28,000. Now, if I do a hotel instead of a hotel, some of you don't know what a wholesale is. A hotel is. Hotel is buying the property as is, relist it back on the MLS in an as-is condition. You're not fixing anything up, right? You just pop it back on the MLS in an as-is condition. So in an as-is condition, this property's worth about $220. Okay, this property's worth about $220. And if I take $220 minus 10%, you got to make sure that when you buy the property, you relist it. There's realtor commissions and closing costs that you have to pay. So if I take $220 minus 10%, that puts me right around $198. So so if we buy the property at $150, now you got to plus the closing costs that you have to pay when you buy the property. Okay, so for us in our market, it's roughly about 3%. So if I take 150 plus 3%, that put us at 155. Now if I take the 198 minus the 155, that put us at a hotel deal on this one is potentially 43G. Okay, so for those of you to understand. So let's get straight into the phone call. So at the beginning, I talked to the seller, I built the rapport, all of that. But what you're about to listen to is how I set the intention with the seller, letting the seller know what's going on this phone call. If we agree on a price, that is he ready to go. You don't want to waste the seller time. You don't want to waste your time. You want to set that intention up front so the seller know what is going on, okay? And this is how I do it. So listen.
You with our cash offer, and hopefully together we can come together to an agreement on a fair price that work for you and for us and be able to move forward to buy your property today, okay?
Okay.
But before we get into that, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. So if we can come together to an agreement on a price that work for both today, is there anything that holds you back from moving forward?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I have a renter in there right now, and I would want to
Okay.
be very fair with him. He's been a very good renter
Absolutely.
for me. But he's
No
aware
problem.
that I'm pursuing this. I'm just trying to find my information that I have for you. Okay.
No problem. Yep, no problem at all. Obviously, yeah, we bought properties with renter in there all the time, and obviously we will be, and we know how to work with renter, and obviously giving them enough time to vacate the property if we decided not to keep it as a rental. So yeah, we typically give them, enough times just to move out and do what they need to do. So yeah, so no worry at all.
Okay.
Right, now watch how I ask for the seller motivation. It's not about what question you ask, it's how do you ask the questions to get the answer that you need. Very, very important. Here it is.
Getting the right price for the property, what is another reason that you would consider selling it?
Why I wouldn't consider selling it?
And why would you? So besides getting the right price, what is another reason that you would consider selling it?
Oh, I'm just done being a landlord, getting older, just kind of where I'm at with it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not an easy job. How long have you been a landlord for?
Well, I've had that property for a long time, and I've rented it off and on after I got married. So this gentleman's been in about 4 years, I believe. I had another renter in before that, and other renters before that, and I had actually moved back into it a while. So probably a total of renting it, I probably total of maybe.
So after talking to the seller a little bit more, there is another motivation why he would sell it at a discount, because the roof and the siding needs to be done. He knows that he can put the time and the money into doing that and get more for the property, but he doesn't want to. He understands that he's going to sell it at a discount, but he wants to sell it as is. Also too is I want you to listen in to see how I kind of come back on that, and also too is how I ask the seller, all right, of the time frame of when he want to close. Always ask, don't assume, right? Because my goal is trying to see if there's a rush, or can I tie this property up for as long as possible. And we end up tying this property up on the contract for 60 days. Listen.
And a new roof on it. Obviously, I can do that and then sell the property myself and take a lot of my time, or I can sell it and let somebody else do that. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Gotcha. I completely understand. And, we buy properties like yours all the time. So which means we're willing to buy the property in an as-is condition. So you don't have to do the work. We're willing to put in the sweat equity on the property. So no problem. I understand that. And hopefully that we'll be able to help you with that as well. Now, if we can agree on a price, is there a time frame that you would like to sell and close escrow by?
Well, there wasn't one really in my head. Just probably the next month or so, if I was going to do it.
Okay, no problem. So if we can agree on something that worked for both today, we're closing within the next 60 days or sooner. Would that something that?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So.
All right, here comes the negotiating part. Now, there's a little misunderstanding here, because based on the notes that I got from our VA, that filter and qualify the leads, that the seller wants $155 for the property. That's the purchase price. And when I mentioned that, the seller's like, I don't know where you got that information. I want it right around like $170. So I'll show you how I negotiate and get the price and get the seller to come off on price, lock it up on a contract at $150. And this seller that I'm dealing with, he already done the research on the property. He knows what needs to be done to the property, what he can sell it for, etc. So I'm not dealing with the seller that doesn't know anything, okay? So listen.
You're looking to get $155 for the property, is that correct?
No, I'm not sure where that number comes from, where that number came from.
Okay, so let me ask you then, how much are you hoping to get for the property?
I would say north of 160. I was thinking more like 170.
I see. Okay, got it. Okay. So she missed that.
Again, Khang, this is the first, yesterday was the first day I really started entertaining this. So things are things could subject to change. I'm just looking at what property values are on the market in that area. And then I'm looking at the assessed value, and I'm saying, okay, this is what it'll cost to fix it. That's kind of what I'm working off of. And they may not be realistic numbers, or they may be very realistic. But I think right now, today as we speak, I'm probably about, I don't think I could go any lower than 160 as we speak. And I'm actually backing down 10,000.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
And I'm sure, Khang, you already know what that property value is worth. What they...
Yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. Obviously, if the price doesn't make sense for you, there's no reason why you would sell it. And obviously, and obviously,
no
if
reason
the
why
price
you would buy it.
Yeah, and if the price doesn't make sense for us, then obviously we wouldn't buy it. So hopefully together we can come together, see something that's fair, that work for both today, and be able to move forward with this. So
what I'm about to do now is ask the seller again, and to see if the seller can come down on the price of 160 a little bit more for us, okay? The seller kind of jokingly said, hey, it is this price now, but it could be a different price tomorrow. And you can kind of see me kind of breathe hard, breathe heavy. That's just a negotiating strategy, a negotiating tactic. When you talk and negotiate with people, your tone of voice cannot just be flat. It got to go up and down. You got to sigh. You got to breathe. You got to go, things like that, right? It's all negotiating tips and and strategies, okay? And as you can see throughout the phone call, I'm not perfect, and you do not want to be perfect. You want it to sound like a normal human being. Here it is.
To buy the property in as is condition, so which means we will be responsible for all the repairs, all the updates, all the work the house is going to need. We're buying it as is. We're okay with taking over with the renter in there as well, and deal with the renter, give the renter, time to vacate the property if we decide not to keep it as a rental, so no problem at all. So it's not like you have to come over to the property to, fix anything. We'll take it over as is. So with that being said, David, could you see yourself going anything lower than 160 for us?
Not today. I
Not
might
today,
tomorrow.
Okay. You might tomorrow, okay.
Yeah, well, I'm just being realistic about it.
I understand. No problem at all. And I know that here's another thing that we offer too, and is that we'll take care of all the closing costs.
Oh, here's a great example of when you talk about the walkaway price instead of the purchase price. So the seller, 160. When I talk about the walkaway, the seller said, 50,000. But obviously I confirmed with the seller, making sure that we're both on the same page. So when I take the walkaway of 50,000, add it to the 85 that he owes, it puts the purchase price at 135. Man, you can see that I'm super excited, but well, you cannot see that I'm excited, but I kept calm, right? Kept calm. I review the number with the seller. You don't want any miscommunication, okay? You want to review the number, make sure everything is agreed, okay? So when I review the number, the seller said, oh, no, I'm sorry, I miscalculate. This is where I need to be. And then then it leads me into presenting the offer to the seller. So when I present the offer, you guys can see where I said, here's our, would you consider this? And then you would also you would need to listen in that I also say that I didn't make the offer as a firm offer. I didn't make the offer as a firm offer. I asked the seller, right, is that I still need to get approval from that. Always remember, you do not want to be the one, right, that lets the seller makes the final decision. You want to make the final decisions, but you want to leave the ball into the in the seller's court, right? You throw it out there, let the seller decide. Once the seller can make a commitment, then you're the one who makes the final call, who makes the final decision, and that is when I use the, hey, if I can get the approval, all right? And then you also listen in here that the seller said, hey, I would need to think about it, all right? I need to talk to my wife about it, yada, yada, yada. And I'll share with you how I handle that as well. Here you go.
About walk away, so that way there's no miscommunication. You know exactly what you walk away with at the time of closing. So if we take care of all the closing costs, all the fees, this is including the excise tax as well, so there will be no cost or fee to you. Once the mortgage of $85,000 paid off, do you, I guess what I'm asking from, what's the bottom line that you would consider as a walkaway net to you if we cover all the costs for you?
That's a good question. I'm just sitting here penciling numbers right now.
Sure, no problem.
I couldn't walk away probably with less than 50.
Less than 50,000.
And that's actually coming down a little bit from what I just said.
Right. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that will, just make sure we're on the same page. So basically that will put the purchase price at 135. Because if I take 50.
No, I guess I did that wrong.
Okay, no problem.
No, I did do that wrong.
No problem.
I think the walk away for me would be 175 if I was going 160. Correct? Would be 75.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I do 160 minus the 85, so that walk away is 75.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see here. Okay, so so after our research and know what we often pay for all the closing costs, all the fees, did you consider, so what I got here, would you consider 150? So if I minus that gives you a walk away of 65,000 net to you in your pocket, not a penny less.
I would consider that, yes.
Would you do that? Like, would you be ready to move forward with that if I can get that pushed through and approved right now?
You know, I would really like to talk to my wife about this, though, Khang.
Okay. Sure.
All right, now you're going to listen to how I kind of push the seller away, and I try everything I can already to ask the seller. I actually asked the seller twice that if they're a price that I can get approved now, is he ready to go? But he still wants to talk to his wife and get his wife approval for it, and I respect that. And you know, to me, a lot of times, you know, you can push a sell and be a little bit pushy, but sometimes pushing the sell might cause you to lose the sell. Just like when you go fishing, if the string is too tight, right, it'll break. But if it's too loose, then the fish will get away. You gotta know, it's just gotta be perfect, okay? And obviously, if you don't have any sales experience, this is gonna be over time where you're gonna gain the experience, where you're gonna know when to push the sell and when not to push the sell. And then toward the end of the call, you're gonna listen to how I tell the seller, hey, if we can make it work, great. If we cannot make it work, no problem, right? I wanna act it like it's cool. If it can work, great. If it doesn't, no problem at all. Like acting like you don't need the sell. And that is what gets you to get the sale. Some of you so anxious to get the sale, you're pushing, and the seller senses it, and it scares them, and they get away. Comment below and let me know if you ever had that problem. You know, if that ever happens to you. You gotta play it cool, and sometimes pushing away is actually pulling them forward. Now, the seller actually called me back within like less than an hour. Accept the price. And we just sent the the purchase sale agreement over to the seller already. All right. And like I said, if you don't have the sales experience, it's going to be over time, right? Over time, the more seller you talk to, you're going to start building up that experience, and you'll get better and better and better at it when it comes to negotiating. And you can feel if you should pull or you should just kind of let it go and then yank it a little bit. All right. So, anyways. Here it is.
If I had a day to think about this, Khang, and we talk tomorrow, I think I could be pretty solid on which way I was going to go on it.
Yep. No, not a problem at all. But not a problem at all. Fine. But let me ask you this. I want to make sure that we're on the same page and that, you know, obviously I'm not wasting your time or our time. Now, is there a price that if I can get approved right now from my team manager that you would be ready to move forward with and get the paperwork done and sell your property?
So you're suggesting you're saying not sleep on it today?
No, I'm basically saying, David, is there a price that if I can get approval right now from my team manager, like I'll be able to let you know yay or nay right away. If I can, is there a price that I can get approved right now that you are ready to move forward with and get the paperwork done and sell your property?
As long as you let me talk to my wife first about it.
Okay.
That's not what you wanted to hear, though, was it?
No problem at all. So I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. That's all.
Yes. No. If my wife and I agree on this, then it's a done deal.
Okay.
But I really think, in all fairness to her, yesterday is the first time I made a phone call concerning this. It was the first time I even tried to. So I don't want to. A month from now, go, why the hell did I do that? And
I understand. Yep.
And you have now you're dealing with a person that's very unhappy, which will be my wife. So no, and no, I but if tomorrow I have the same feeling I have right now, and my wife's good with it, I'll be ready to go. I'll be ready to sell right then.
Got it. Yep. No. I completely understand where you're coming. Where you're coming from now. I definitely want to make sure you and the wife both on the same page, because obviously we don't want her to be upset, or we don't want you to regret the decisions that you made. Definitely want to make sure. Yeah.
And you know, really, what it comes out to is she's been on the internet and looked at values. She knows what the house is worth.
That's
but
great.
what I don't think she knows is, okay, yeah, that's what the house is worth, but that's not what you're going to get, and that's not, and that's what I need to make sure she understands.
I understand,
because there's a real value. There's a big financial value in as is, and I walk away from it, and it's yours. That's a big deal. I mean, I just dealt with this, and they can, you know, they can expect the value in this. I see the value because this is going to fall on my shoulders if I don't do it. either way. But I need to make sure I have buy-in from my wife. I want to make sure she understands, and it's her blessing, because I don't want to hear, as you just said, months from now, have her saying, you know, why'd you do that? Or I say that. I want to be perfectly good with this. So, is that fair? Do you think?
Yep, I understand completely where you're coming from, and yes, it is fair. So I will let you go ahead and do your thing and discuss with the wife, making sure that you guys are both on the same page before you make the final decisions. So how about I'll call you back tomorrow at the same time? Would that work for you then?
Yes. Let me get to my calendar real quick, Khang. If I cut you off, which I'm capable of doing when I'm messing around with my phone.
No problem.
So the same time tomorrow should work. So you're looking at about 11 o'clock?
That is correct. And then we'll shoot you a text message 30 minutes in advance just to make sure that you can still make it, okay?
Really sounds good, Khang. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for calling me back.
Yeah, not at all. Thank you so much for the opportunities, and hopefully we'll be able to work something out. If not, we completely understand. It's not a problem at all, okay?
Okay, very good. Have a good day.
Yep, not a problem. Talk to you tomorrow.
And I hope that it added a lot of value to your life and to your business today. And if you think that is good, you have no clue what is included in my King Kong seller script, all right? If you're having trouble talking to the seller, negotiating with them, converting more leads into actual deals, and lock more property up in a contract, check out my King Kong seller script. The link is right below. It is probably the best investment you ever make, all right, in yourself and for your business. Because I'm going to show you how to talk, how to negotiate, and how to lock these property up in a contract all over the phone if you don't want to go meet the seller. I'll take your game to a whole nother level. All right, now this is not for everyone. It's only for those of you who say, Khang, you know what? I locked property up in a contract before, but I don't know how to do it over the phone. I'll show you how it's done. Now, whether you're cold calling, door knocking, or meeting the seller in the streets, as long as you're talking to the seller, I do not care. I'll show you exactly how to dominate the call, how to negotiate, how to control the phone call, how to overcome all the objections and lock more property up in a contract and make more the money. All right? So if that's you I'm talking to you, I promise you it is the best investment you make. The link is right below, okay? Also included in the King Kong script is all the contract that I used today. All right, I'll do a video. I'll show you how to fill it out. I'll actually do the video, walk you through the script as well. You also get 10 to 13 different live seller call that I talk to that you can listen to gain the experience, to also know that that is exactly how I talk to the seller. What's on the script is how I talk to the seller. Now, the script is not to make you sound like a robot, so please don't get it confused like I did when I first started out. People tell me, oh, Khang, you got to at least get a script, right? But I think, well, I don't want to sound like a robot. I want to sound like myself. I want to be human. The script is not to make you sound like a robot. I'll show you exactly how to handle the objections. I'll show you how to lay out all the question and what's important and how to ask the question. That is the important. How do you ask the questions, okay? And eventually what you want to do is you want to memorize and you want to master it, right? Once you memorize it, then guess what? You got to put in your own personality, your own little spin, your own taste. That is when the script becomes powerful, is you put yourself into it, all right? And I promise you, when you can do that, dude, you're unstoppable. And the thing is, I'll give you a layout, so now you're able to train your a VA or any employee. You're able to hand them the script, have them study it, and they can filter and qualify the leads for you. And then you can lock the deal up on a contract over the phone, or you can have somebody else do it for you. Because there's two parts to the script. Part one is qualify, filter the lead. Part two is to call back and make the offer. Now, whether you go out to meet the seller, because some of you say, Khang, I like to meet people. I like to meet the seller. Great, no problem. I'll show you. It's the same questions, same answer, same objections. I'll show you exactly how it's done. Like I said, man, for those of you who have not checked out my King Kong script, I promise you, you're missing out. It is the best investment you ever make. Because to me, talking to seller, talking to seller is the number one skill set that you need to learn in this business if you want to convert more leads into actual deals and lock more property up in the contract and make more money. I promise you, talking to seller is what separates you from who you are from another investor. Because if they're better at pitching, they're better at selling, and they're better at talking to the seller, and if you're not, I promise you, what you're doing is you're just shooting for luck. You're just trying to get lucky. And can you get lucky? The answer is yes. After you talk to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people, yes, eventually you will get lucky where you come across a motivated seller that doesn't care what you say. As long as the price makes sense, they're ready to go. But in today, being how competitive the market is, you got to separate yourself. And dude, you're building a business, not trying to win a lotto ticket, okay? So you got to make sure that you don't have to structure and you don't have to talk to the seller. And if you cannot duplicate and do it again and again, how can you build business? And if you're so good, I challenge you to lock it up on a contract over the phone. Now, the next thing is, if you can do that, then I challenge you to hire a VA from the Philippines, know nothing about real estate, and have them filter and lock the deal up for you. Can you do that? Because that's how our business is run. The wife trained all of the VA using the King Kong script, and she's able to train them up to filter, qualify the leads, and within 2 weeks, they can lock property up on a contract. That is how powerful the script is. Because I just laid out simple questions and show you exactly how to ask the questions, how to handle the objections, and how to close on them. Okay? If you're interested, check out the link below. Go to Wholesale to Millions, wholesale2million.com. No S, wholesale2million.com. It's $4.95, but I promise you, it is one of the best investment that you ever made for yourself and for your business, because I'm going to show you exactly how to convert more leads into actual deals and lock more property on the contract with the script. Until next time, you guys, take care and ciao.